your tickets because the drafting has begun.
Starting things off, this is going to be the first series of the day. Team SMG going to be drafting on the blue side, RSG MY on the red side. Starting things off, they have already banned out the Julian. This is a hero that was just absolutely tearing up the Land of Dawn yesterday.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the performance from Suha's Esports' Oxygen does kind of tell you that a full damage build, Julian still is going to be relatively effective at taking out single targets, maybe even more with how strong its enhanced chains can work when it comes down to initiation. Farmis getting banned out by the side of RSG MY. That's some exciting stuff because it has been recently reworked.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to see Faramis being banned out and respected so much on this sort of stage, because the hero has really sadly been forgotten for such a long time, and it is nice that this revamp is giving him a new breath of life, just like how his new ultimate is basically giving his teammates another breath of life here. And it's understandable why you would want to get rid of it. That cult altar is really annoying, just the same as the mobility that Fanny brings to the table.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to get rid of just strong staple picks here. I'm expecting to see Wan. I'm expecting to see... I'm thinking whether Vexana is worth it or not, but considering yesterday's data and yesterday's picks and bans, I don't think people are really going to touch it compared to Valentina.
Yeah, absolutely not. Valentina still going to be a very annoying hero to deal with, but I do like that the way the game has sort of advanced now, the way the meta has changed and patches have been added to the game, Valentina is no longer a hero that really needs to 100% be banned out. We actually saw her get let through here and there, and teams do have ways of dealing with her simply because I feel like the meta hero pool overall now is so much bigger than it has ever been before.
I would love to agree with you, but the 100% win rate since last season still remains. We're waiting for the first loss with her in the lineup. So until that happens, I think that she's still mighty relevant. Stealing an ult from literally anybody from the enemy team is a powerful tool. However, Wan is still ridiculous. I don't know why. It hasn't been changed. Give us 4 weakness points. 3 weakness points, it's too much. It's too much.
I feel like it is going to be a bit difficult to change things back to how it originally was. Because even so, yes, Crossbow of Tang is very strong, but the 4 weakness points really did make Wan a very difficult hero to play in the past, and the reward just didn't quite match things up. So that's a difficult balancing game to go through here. But now that all the bans have come out from both these teams, first hero gonna be picked up from Team SMG, starting off with the Akai.
Yeah, with Masha being banned out for the side of RSG MY, Team SMG going to be starting things off with a flex pick. And remember, we have Coach James live up on stage. This isn't no more to that, oh, I'm just going to relay information from afar. No, he is with the team, and he is looking to bring this lineup to M4. However, he's not the only ambitious one here. With Pooja at the helm, with Lexia by his side, they're going to be locking in the Thamus almost immediately, followed up by Eve. 2 picks which we see very prominently in day 1.
Yep, very high priority picks here with the Tamus and Eve. Eve so far having 100% win rate after day number 1. And even though Tamus, his win rate not looking too hot, we already see exactly how well this hero is able to hold the front line, just regenning against anything the enemy team throws in his way. To respond to this, Team SMG are going to be picking up the Lilia and following things up with the Beatrix.
Yep, really safe picks all across the board here. I think, you know, Lilia is very decent. Although it will get outranged late in the later stages of the game, the peel is just really strong. Beatrix being a very, very good gold laner. With the help of Akai, both Lilia and Beatrix will have some relevance. RSGMY, however, decide to go with the Claude. That's a little interesting for me.
Yeah, Claude has surprisingly been prioritized a lot more as a hero so far in the tournament than I would have initially thought, because the hero hasn't really been changed that much, and when you play it into a Beatrix, it does feel like a losing lane. But this is still a Lolil signature pick. I think he's quite comfortable with it, and we are seeing more teams lean toward making sure they have that late game scaling, so I can still understand why they might want to go for it.
I mean, if we're talking about signature picks coming out from Lolil, it's like, give me the Moskov at the very least. Come on, we gotta see some flavor here, you know? Claude, I'm getting a little tired of shouting Blazing Duet. I want to see a Spear of Destruction come halfway through the map.
I mean, I can understand your sentiment there, but do you really want to risk picking up a Moskov against Sasa Beatrix?
Look, I mean, I mean, Lolios, he tried to pull off Moskov against Red Esports in last season's playoffs. I'm not going to question it if he does bring it in regular season. But coming into the last few bans here, it's Paquito and as well as Esmeralda. Team SMG follow up with Karina, and now with the last ban of this game.
Yeah, the Esmeralda and Paquito being banned out by RSG MY means that there is respect going over to Smooth. They are suspecting that this is not going to be an EXP lane Akai, and these are two heroes that Smooth can make a lot happen with. We saw in Season 9, Smooth really picked up the pace, becoming possibly one of the best EXP laners of the entire league. His ability to hold the lane and then transition any advantage he has into more map pressure for the rest of his team is really instrumental to how well Team SMG were able to perform previously.
I think Smooth has some great flexibility. He knows his matchups very, very well. He knows when to stall. He knows when to press his advantage and take map control. He's got a good eye for these things, and with the team to back him up. And now, honestly, with Hate as their mid laner, I think things are going to change. And I want to see how Team SMG is going to utilize Hate's mechanics in their team. Now, first pick, the second phase, going over to RSG MY. Looking at the lineup from Team SMG, nothing is really set in stone other than the gold laner and the mid laner. They're going to respond with the Matilda to pull people out of dangerous situations.
I like that. I think that's a good choice here, especially when you are dealing with an Akai. The heavy spin would usually be a death sentence for any other member of your team, but having the guiding winds to pull them out of those dangerous situations, not to mention making sure that they can escape from the minefields that Lilia are inevitably going to plant down, is a very valuable thing. But that also means that RSGMY is going to be overall lacking in frontline tankiness, and a lot of it is going to come down to HYHY on this Tamus.
Yeah, I want to see how HYHY has developed, because previously when he first debuted in the MPL under Orange Esports, he was the dedicated EXP laner, and then eventually transitioned into a gold laner where he didn't play marksman as often when he was with Suha's Esports. Now, Team SMG going to be locking in Cho as well as Phovius. That's not too bad. There is enablers for the demonic force in the likes of Matilda and as well as Claude. Both have dashes. One can even pull people towards her, which is also considered a dash. And let's not forget about Tamas as well.
Yep, and I do kind of wonder exactly how demonic force interacts with heavy spin. Does that count as a dash?
It doesn't count as a dash.
No.
Body Slam does count as a dash.
Okay, that would work there. So looking at Team SMG's lineup, that does indicate that Box will be playing the jungle Akai, and most likely this is a roam Cho. Noir, obviously this is going to be his debut match in the MPL. Starting things off with Cho is quite a flex here, not an easy hero to play.
Yeah, especially with the lineup that RSG MY has specifically, getting these big catches on primary targets like Claude, for an example, because Claude can easily just take Purify to get out of the way to the dragon, to be fair, but knowing Lolios, I think he might greed out here.
Could greed out. Claudes do sometimes like going for the average just to farm faster, or even the vengeance just to make sure that they are able to really frontline for the rest of the team, but that won't really be necessary since the jungle Baxia, played by Kuza, will make up for the squishiness that RSG will have with the Matilda roam. With both lineups completed and locked and loaded, we are going into Game 1, first series of the day, and the crowd is excited. We are looking at the teams right up on screen. I hope that you all are prepared for what is about to be a riveting game.
Yep, this is going to be interesting for our first debut game of SMG and RSG with their new lineups here. Let's jump into the land of Dawn. For all intents and purposes, for everybody out there watching from any MPL, this is going to be a standardized rule. If you notice on the top right-hand side of our screen soon, you will see the version of patch that we are playing on. And it's important to notice that we are playing on 1.699. Later in the season, there will be updates. However, there is going to be a big patch coming out down later in this season that we will not update to, and all teams have agreed to make sure that they play before the emblem changes.
Indeed, that's going to be quite something to look forward to here. But starting things off with this game, so far, it does look like Sasa is going to be able to win out in this lane. We already predicted this. Beatrix is a very difficult matchup for the Claude. In terms of emblems as well, I can see that the teams are actually going a little bit greedy. Hawk having the Avarice on Matilda, and even Smooth, interestingly, going for the same emblem on Phoveus.
Interesting. He's going to get average. I guess he wants the trade. He knows that the trades are going to happen. He can minimize that damage, and he wants to be able to profit off of it, right? I think that's the sentiment here when he's playing the lane. However, Box and Kuza, the 50-50 didn't work out in Box's favor, and Kuza now hitting level 4 a slightly earlier and has the better clear speed compared to Yakai.
Somehow that just seemed like such a wholesome scene, though. Both junglers just farming the same camp at the same time, right next to each other without trying to whack each other. That is nice, but now Noir in the bottom lane, trying to get a stun onto Loliels. Guiding wins though, gets him out safely.
Yeah, and now Sasa, he's got a considerable EXP lead onto Loliels, so I can understand that Loliels is calling in for Hawk to actually help him out with the lane, get him a couple of waves, because once it's level 4, it doesn't really matter at that stage. I don't think Loliels wants to trade too hard against Beatrix.
So far, we can see the first turtle of the game has officially spawned up top, and both teams are playing very closely around it. Demonic Force already popped down, doing a lot of damage to Kuza as the heavy spin gonna be pinning HYHY against the wall, but Tamas, not an easy hero to take down. We are now 4v3, first blood, going over the Hate as he draws the first kill of the game in a brand new MPL.
Nicely done. He might get a second one here. He's looking for Kuza, predicts it well, gets a second. That's a double here, already achieved by Hate. Box and as well as Smooth, making sure that they have their eyes set on the goal, take the turtle down.
Hate making an impact. Obviously, our import player from MPL Philippines already showing his stuff. The first 2 kills of the day and first blood of the game, giving a very handy 1.8k gold lead instantly to Team SMG.
I mean, really good plays coming in from Hate. He's getting some good predictions down in the movement of Kuza, netting him a double kill. But now where do they transition this lead, right? They've gotten the turtle, and the question is, do they want to press their advantage or do they want to kind of slow things down? Let's keep an eye on Noir specifically, because he's helping out Sasa in a winning lane.
Yeah, that's gonna be really painful for Loliels. He already has such a rough time farming on this Claude, and it is very important for RSG MY that Loliels gets the farm he needs. He is their late game safety check, basically their win condition, but now HYHY in a bit of trouble.
Yep, Demonic Force already procced here. Can he actually catch him with the Eye of Astaroth? He finds it, and HYHY pops his ult, as well as Vengeance sees Hate. He can't seem to run away in time as Smooth slowly chunks him down. They might just go for the tower dive here. If he lands inside, yes, he does. Ooh. And that just means that Hate gets to knock him down. Man, Hate does not miss.
Yeah, absolutely not. Living up to his namesake right now. You can feel the hate for the enemy team. He is going to chase them down to the ends of the earth. And Smooth doing such a good job of keeping HYHY under lock and key with that Demonic Force. That was perfect spacing of his cooldowns to make sure that the Tamas would never get too far away.
Yep, nicely done. And Smooth now getting significantly ahead in the lane. I think it's going to be really tough for HYHY to take these trades now that Smooth did get his Clock of Destinies. So I think he's got like a 2-minute timer before these trades get really bad for HYHY.
Yeah, and you never want to be in that situation when you are playing on a Tamas. This is a hero that should be able to hold lane with no problem and even pick up kills here and there. Right now, he's sitting on a 0-2-0 kill score, and with the turtle coming back up, that means that he's most likely not going to be able to provide his team a hand in taking this next objective.
Loliel with a recent purchase of the Demon Hunter sword. They're slowly wrapping around, making sure they take the space for the turtle so far. Purple buff is still up, but Kuza doesn't need it. This is a more important objective to take. Both XP laners are going to be rotating down, but here comes the initial attack coming in from Noir. He doesn't find the way of the dragon as the real war manipulation comes down. It's going to be Box who finds the initial take, but HYHY has to hold on, pops his vengeance to survive. Demonic Force and Smooth plays this well. Chucks 3 out. HYHY almost dying here. He wants more, but he can't finish them off with the Demonic Force. That's Smooth going down. Izanami playing it well with the help of Hawk, and Hate going to continue trying to run down anybody he can find. Another real war manipulation. Hate survives, and that could have been so much worse for RSG MY, but they walk away with a single kill.
Honestly, that was just excellently played by both teams. Box already, we know, even from his days in Suhas Esports, is really good at those retribution timings. And when you combine that with the heavy spin to push away Kuza, he can basically guarantee the turtle. Not to mention Smooth and Sasa doing massive damage to the rest of RSG MY. But they were able to actually disengage from that very effectively, making sure to use their dashes to try and force Smooth into the tower instead of allowing him to get easy pickoffs.
I think Smooth played that as good as it gets, right? I mean, he was using the iframes from the Demonic Force to dodge some significant abilities like the Molten Scythe, and arguably when the real world manipulation came down, he took a couple of hits before disappearing and reappearing on the enemy on his targeted enemies. However, they were so low. It could have been so good for Team SMG. That was almost guaranteed 3 kills, but they couldn't get in on their targets. I mean, Hate especially had to take his black shoes super early on.
Yeah, I think that is just props to RSG MY. Like you said, that should have been a total dominating fight from Team SMG, so the fact that they were able to plan out their escape route well enough to get out is just real props. But another fight is now starting. Sasa gonna be focused down by the Blazing Duet as Box gonna get caught out in the backline. Real world manipulation. He wants the Beatrix, but the flicker gets Sasa out. HY looking for the Beatrix in the backline. Hate dealing 1v3. Does he have black shoes? Yes, he does. He gets back. Loliel's gonna be able to TP out with the Battle Mirror image as Noir gets the kick on the Kusa into the Demonic Force. Hawk dropping real low. Astro's Eye gonna find him in the back line as Kusa gonna get picked off. Smooth, not quite done. He's still following him. Matilda gonna get carried out. Loliel's being chased down by Noir. Misses the flicker, but Smooth picks up the kill onto Izanami. Noir, does he still want to go for this? Loliel's looking very juicy right now. He's actually gonna choose to recall under the tower. Noir, he's gonna let him go.
Oh my goodness. Finally, they get those retribution kills from earlier, taking 3 down, and Smooth, my god, he lives up to his name. Didn't take the Demonic Force. Let Izanami feel safe running away before taking him out with a flame shot all over again. It's not as easy as it looks, because I would have absolutely tapped the Demonic Force for sure.
Yeah, me as well. It just speaks to the discipline that these players have to be able to make those sort of split-second decisions. And although RSGMY has been doing a good job of responding to Team SMG's aggression, the net worth lead for Team SMG has now expanded to 4,000.
Can we also talk about Hate's fancy footwork earlier? 1v3ing 3 members of RSG MY, but hold up, hold that thought. It's Team SMG looking for an opportunity to punish, but no, it is read by HYHY. He backs off, and bottom tier 1 is going to get traded for top tier 1 between Team SMG and RSG MY.
I think this is good macro decision making from RSG MY. Yes, they will end up losing a whole lane of towers, but when they are behind at this stage of the game, they have to make those trades, recognizing that most of Team SMG is in the bottom lane. They decide to make the move up top.
Well, looking up on top side, I mean, RSG MY is specifically sticking together. They refuse to kind of split up now, and they're telling HY he's got to be really careful, because now Team SMG are making these macro team plays, right? They're looking to isolate these fights. They're looking to look for pick-offs against RSG MY, and the only person who can get them out of these tough situations is Hawk, and there's only just one of him.
Yeah, Hawk can only do so much to be able to save his teammates from getting caught out. And speaking of that, Noir gets the kick onto Kuza, but he's 1v4 right now. He doesn't want to overstay his welcome. A few well-placed blasts from Hate will make sure that RSG can't chase them down.
Yeah, for now, I think it's going to be stalemated for a while, and Team SMG playing very similarly to how they were in the regular season of Season 9. They like to take their time, they've got a lead, maintain that lead, and wait for the right timings.
Yeah, timing right now is going to be very important, because the Lord has now spawned onto the Land of Dawn for the very first time. Now, this is not a Luminous Lord, so even if RSGMY were to give this away to Team SMG, it is not too big in terms of damage. But they need to make sure that they're able to buy enough space for Loliels to continue getting farm, because their win condition right now is pretty behind as compared to Sasa.
You know what, speaking of which, let's pull up the item list real quick, just so we can have an idea of where they are in their build. I'm curious to see how far Loliels is, because I think he recently purchased a golden staff at some point, and he should be able to start dishing out some serious damage now. Alright, yes, so now he just has to full stack full stack is Art of Thievery, and maybe we could potentially see a turnaround for RSG MY.
But we can also see that Sasa has gone for a second item, Wind of Nature. Blazing Duet gonna drop hate down real low, right into the real world manipulation. Kuza buying a lot of space as Noir jumps in the backline. Tapping out. Izanami guiding wins. Not enough to get him away from the demonic force. And Team SMG pick up a single casualty from the opponent's side, forcing RSG to give up the Lord.
Oh, it's a 3-for-4 ult trade here, and it's not looking good for RSG MY. I feel bad. Honestly, I feel really bad for Izanami. Hold on. Kuza gets hit by Box with a body slam. Hate walks right into the shield unity, but Kuza's going to get away with the help of Hawk as they sit right on top as they juggle aggro and sacrifice their mid-tier 1. And RSG MY, knowing that they have lost the Lord, decide to go for the map play.
Team SMG is absolutely terrifying right now, because if we just look at the way that they are taking these team fights, it is so coordinated and so surgical. RSG, they have a team lineup that requires them to play a big front-to-back death ball. They need to make sure that HY and Kuza are taking most of the heat to ensure that the backline isn't being caught out. But Noir and Smooth are making that so difficult for them simply because of how well they can play around this positioning. And then they also have to think about how much damage Hate is doing on this Lilia.
Yeah, and I mean, Izanami, unfortunately, even though he did have that support system, was getting bounced around, trying to get back to the guiding winds, but getting knocked by the heavy spin, and then initially getting pushed away by Smooth's flame shot, and on top of the fact that he was getting kicked by Noir. He was basically a ping pong ball.
Yeah, but now the Lord gonna be pushing into the base. This is not Luminous, but it's poised to do a lot of damage. Blazing Duet literally doing nothing to all of Team SMG, forcing Loliels back the tower. Gonna drop down as Heavy Spin, unfortunately, will not find any stragglers. Team SMG, they should be quite satisfied with this.
When you were asking about the heavy spin proccing Demonic Force, considering it a dash, were you talking about if you were up against it or if you get hit by it?
Get hit by it.
Because we get confirmation right now that when you are hit by the heavy blow, you will proc that Demonic Force.
That is really annoying for RSG MY. Just so many free Demonic Force procs, and now with the Beatrix just constantly poking down these towers. This is the strength of this hero. Despite all the nerfs, still in meta, able to take down these objectives from so far away. That has to be frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, RSG MY hit the 32k power spike, but Team SMG are way beyond that. They've hit 38k, and now with a third item already done and dusted, they're looking to get their fourth in RSG MY. This is a ticking time bomb. With such a low kill count, Team SMG are on the cusp of turning this game onto RSG MY's heads. With the Lord advantage push, able to get 2.8k gold off of it. Ooh, a 4k lead now to 6k. This next 38 seconds is going to be important for RSG MY.
I feel like we have to highlight that they did 25,000 tower damage with the first Lord of the game. That is ridiculous. You usually expect this first Lord to just die without doing much at all when you are in an even state. The fact that Team SMG were able to push in, take 2 inhibitor towers and not lose anyone, they are firmly in the driver's seat.
I mean, when you're looking at RSG MY's composition, not a lot of them have effective wave clearing mechanics. Like Loliels, yes, he can clear waves technically, but how many of his resources is he going to expend? Izanami great at clearing waves. HY can kind of clear waves, kind of in the same situation as Loliels. Hawk can't really do the job. Kuza also can't really do the job.
We can see from their items as well that basically everyone on RSG MY is currently working on a physical defense item. They recognize that Sasa is becoming a problem, but this is not... Oh my goodness! Kuza, where did you go? Loliels jumps in with the Blazing Duet, but Wind of Nature gonna keep Sasa alive as Smooth buys time with Hate in the backline. RSG can do nothing as Hawk is chased back to his base by Smooth.
This is going to guarantee that Team SMG takes the Lord, and this is a Luminous 112 minutes, and I think this is going to be checkmate very, very soon, as Team SMG will now press their advantage with their 8k gold lead 14 minutes into the game.
This is rough for them. With 8,000 net worth difference, this is already reaching the point of no return for Team SMG. If the difference was still a little bit lower, it would be difficult, but there is still potential for RSG to claw their way back. Right now, as long as Team SMG doesn't make a major mistake, this game is basically as good as won.
Yep. Now, they're synchronizing the waves, but more importantly, they're forcing RSG MY backwards. They want to take that very final inhibitor turret, and they can easily do so. And in the process, they can actually get a couple of shots off onto key targets. And Sasa, he's just going to take his time with this. He can sit here and shoot it all day long. Anybody want a body block and take at least 1k damage? Be my guest as the Luminous Lord makes his way to the crystal.
Fox gonna be pushing Kuza out of position, and well, you're a tank. Guess what? You're not. Blazing Duet not gonna do anything as absolute chaos unfolds in the base of RSG MY. Real world manipulation does not matter as Izanami is picked off. They do find Sasa, though. Currently one member of Team SMG down. But what does it matter if you're Crystal?